The sweet scent of expensive perfume filled the air as Precious trotted out of the sleek black Lexus that stopped in front of the popular Lagos lounge Velvet Room. Heads turned immediately. Her red heels clicked on the pavement like a queen's announcement. Her hair, a shiny 30-inch Peruvian weave, flowed freely, and her body-hugging gown sparkled under the evening light. Phones were out, flashes went off, and whispers followed her every step. "That's Precious, the influencer," someone gasped. "See her dress, oh, Omo, this babe too fine," another voice said. Precious smiled faintly. She was used to the attention. Online, she was known as Queen Prissy, a Nigerian social media goddess with over 500,000 followers. Her page overflowed with photos from luxurious vacations, brand endorsements, fine dining, and perfect makeup looks. She was the image of success and beauty, the type of woman every young girl wanted to be like. But behind the perfect lashes and the flawless skin was a secret she guarded more than her bank pin. Her real life was not as spotless as her Instagram feed. When she got home, everything changed. The next morning, as sunlight forced its way through her dusty curtains, Precious rolled over on a bed covered in rumpled sheets and leftover snacks. Empty cups of noodles, half-eaten chicken bones, and makeup wipes littered the floor. Her once white duvet now carried stains of foundation and lipstick. A strong smell of stale food filled the air. Her one-room apartment in Ikeja was a total mess. Plates piled up in the sink, clothes scattered on the floor, wigs dumped on chairs, and her bathroom looked like it hadn't been washed in weeks. She groaned, covered her nose, and turned on her phone. Her notifications were blowing up. "Queen Prissy, you are goals. You're the most classy woman I know. Please, ma, which skincare do you use?" She smiled weakly and replied, "Consistency and self-love, dear." She took her phone to the only corner of her house that looked clean, a small white wall with fairy lights. There she filmed a quick video showing her morning routine. All fake, of course. She carefully edited the video to hide her dirty background. Within minutes, comments poured in praising her perfection. To her followers, she was the ultimate slay queen. But in reality, her life was far from perfect. She had 3 main friends. Tenny, her loud but loyal bestie who knew all her secrets. Amaka, the competitive one who was always secretly jealous. And Femi, her on and off boyfriend who loved her body more than her soul. There was also Mrs. Grace, her elderly neighbor, who always frowned whenever she walked past. Mrs. Grace didn't understand how a young woman who dressed like royalty could live in such filth. One Saturday morning, Tenny came over unannounced. She opened the door and screamed, "Jesus, Precious! What is this smell?" Precious jumped from her bed, startled. Tenny, you not go knock first?" "Knock, beg, your house they smell like dustbin. You live here?" Precious hissed and picked up a wig from the floor. "Beg, leave me. I've been too busy to clean. Influencer life no easy." Tenny shook her head. "Babe, this is not normal. You post all those luxury pictures online, but see your house. If your followers see this, them go faint." Precious ignored her, plugging in her ring light. "Beg, I have a brand video to shoot. Help me hold the camera." Tenny sighed. "One day, this your fake life go backfire." And indeed, that day was closer than she thought. That evening, Precious was invited to a private influencer party in Neky. It was a big deal. Major brands, top celebrities, and media houses would be there. It was her chance to finally get noticed by a luxury fashion brand she had been chasing for months. She dressed like a goddess. Gold gown, diamond earrings, perfect makeup. Femi arrived to drive her there, wearing a sharp black suit. "You look beautiful," he said, eyes glued to her body. "Thanks," she replied coolly. But while Femi smiled, his mind was elsewhere. He was tired of the pretense too. He had visited her house once and almost vomited from the smell. He couldn't understand how a woman so glamorous online could live like a pig. At the party, Precious sparkled as usual. Cameras loved her. The brand representative, Mr. Kelvin, even told her he would be contacting her for a collaboration soon. She was thrilled. But then came the disaster. Unknown to Precious, Amaka, her jealous friend, had secretly taken a video weeks ago when she visited her house. In that video, Precious's dirty apartment was clearly visible. Piles of clothes, leftover food, and even cockroaches crawling on her dressing table. Amaka had kept it on her phone, waiting for the right moment. That night, after seeing how everyone adored Precious, envy burned in her chest. "Let's see how perfect you will be after this," Amaka muttered and uploaded the video online with the caption, "This is how your favorite slay queen lives in real life." By morning, the internet had exploded. "Ew, so this is Queen Prissy's house? All that makeup and she can't clean her room? I'm disappointed. Fake life will finish some people." Precious woke up to hundreds of messages. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Her brand deal emails disappeared. Companies she worked with started unfollowing her. She felt her chest tighten. Tenny rushed over immediately. "Babe, you don't see waiting the trend online?" Precious's eyes were red and swollen. "Tenny, my life is finished. Everyone has seen it." Tenny hugged her tightly. "Calm down. We'll fix this." But the damage was done. Within days, she lost almost everything. Brand deals, followers, and respect. Even Femi stopped picking her calls. He claimed he was too embarrassed to be associated with her. Mrs. Grace came by one morning holding a broom. "My daughter," she said softly, "you see now? This world loves appearance but not truth. God used this to open your eyes. Clean your life, not just your house." For the first time, Precious cried from her soul. All the fake life, the lies, the emptiness, it came crashing down. She realized she had been living for people who didn't even care about her. Over the next few days, she refused to post anything. She stayed off social media and focused on cleaning. It took 3 full days to make her apartment look human again. As she cleaned, she found things she had forgotten she owned. Old photos of her late mother, notes from school, and her Bible, now covered in dust. Each item reminded her of who she used to be before social media consumed her. On the 3rd night, she sat on her clean bed, holding her mother's picture. "Mama, I've been stupid, but I'll start again." It was a slow journey, but a real one. She started by posting honestly, showing her cleaning journey, talking about how fake social media can be, and encouraging young girls to love themselves beyond filters. Some mocked her, but many others appreciated her honesty. Her story began to inspire. Weeks later, she got an unexpected call. It was from Mr. Kelvin, the same brand representative from the party. "I saw your recent posts. We like how real you have become. Our new campaign is about authenticity. We'd like to work with you." Precious smiled with tears in her eyes. For the first time, she didn't feel the need to fake perfection. She had finally learned that true beauty starts from within, not from clothes, money, or fame, but from self-respect and truth. And this time, she wasn't just cleaning her apartment, she was cleaning her life. That's how the slay queen with a dirty secret became a woman of value. The morning sun poured softly through the white curtains, spreading a calm glow around Precious's now tidy room. The sweet scent of lavender from her new air freshener filled the air. Her bed was neatly made, her floor spotless, and her kitchen finally looked like a place for food, not trash. For the first time in a long while, she felt peace in her home. But peace didn't come without scars. She had spent 2 months rebuilding herself offline. She avoided parties, ignored gossip blogs, and focused on small content about personal growth, cleanliness, and life lessons. Her followers had dropped from 500,000 to barely 100,000, but those who remained were real fans, people who loved her new, humble self. Still, the betrayal from Amaka burnt deep in her chest. Amaka hadn't called, texted, or apologized. In fact, she was thriving, making friends with the same brands that once worked with Precious. She posted daily videos of her lavish life, pretending she had nothing to do with Precious's downfall. Tenny had begged Precious to let it go, but forgiveness wasn't easy. One evening, Precious sat at her small dining table with Tenny. They were eating rice and stew, chatting about old times, when Tenny suddenly said, "You know Amaka is hosting an influencer hangout next week in Neky, right?" Precious dropped her spoon slowly. "I don't care." Tenny smiled softly. "You do. I know you still feel hurt. Maybe you should go, not to fight, but to show her that she didn't destroy you." Precious thought about it. The old her would have shown up just to make a statement. Loud dress, loud makeup, loud attitude. But the new her was different. She didn't need to prove anything to anyone. Yet, deep inside, she wanted to see Amaka's face again. The hangout came quickly. It was at a rooftop lounge overlooking the ocean, filled with laughter, music, and cameras. Influencers posed everywhere, clinking glasses and shouting cheers for Instagram stories. When Precious walked in, heads turned, just like old times. She wore a simple cream jumpsuit and minimal makeup, but there was something glowing about her, a peace that didn't come from money or fame. Amaka froze when she saw her. The guilt she had buried under designer clothes began to crawl back up her throat. Tenny whispered, "You've already won, babe. Look at her face." Amaka tried to act confident, forcing a smile. "Oh, Precious, long time. You're glowing, oh. I've missed you." Precious smiled back, calm and collected. "You haven't missed me, Amaka. You missed competing with me." The table went silent. Amaka's fake smile disappeared. "Ah, what are you saying? I didn't do anything to you." Precious leaned closer. "You did. You broke my trust, but I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." The room was quiet. Amaka swallowed hard, her pride slowly fading. She had expected Precious to be bitter or broken, not calm, not peaceful, not this version of herself. "Precious," she began, her voice trembling. I'm sorry. I was jealous. Everyone loved you and I wanted that. I didn't think it would go that far." Tears welled up in Precious's eyes. "You didn't just hurt my reputation, Amaka. You hurt my soul. But I thank you because what you did taught me the biggest lesson of my life. Never live for people who can destroy you for likes." The whole table clapped softly. Even the other influencers felt the truth in her words. Later that night, Precious stepped outside to the balcony. The sea breeze brushed her face as she gazed at the waves. She felt lighter. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Mr. Kelvin, the brand manager who had earlier offered her a comeback campaign. "Hi, Precious. The brand loves your story. We'd like you to come to Abuja next week for a shoot and motivational event. We'll handle all expenses." She smiled and looked up at the stars. Thank you, God. It was a sign her redemption was complete. But life wasn't done testing her. 2 days later, she got a call from Femi. "Pressy, please can we talk?" he said in a soft tone. Her heart skipped. She hadn't spoken to him since the scandal. He had disappeared when things got hard. "What do you want, Femi?" I asked coldly. I made a mistake, okay? I was stupid. I shouldn't have left you when everyone was mocking you. I still love you. You love me now that I'm rising again. No, I mean, Femi, please stop. I loved you once, but I've outgrown that kind of love. You were with me for the attention, not for me. Pressy, don't talk like that. I've changed. So have I, she said and ended the call. It wasn't anger this time. It was peace. She was finally free from fake love, fake friends, and fake life. The following week, she flew to Abuja for the event. The campaign theme was Be Real, Be You. The company wanted her to share her story on stage in front of hundreds of young Nigerian women. As she stood before the crowd, wearing a simple Ankara dress, she told her story. From living a fake social media life to the humiliation and finally to rediscovering her worth. The audience was silent, listening to every word. Then she said, "Don't let social media define your value. What matters is how you live when no one is watching. Clean your inside before your outside, because beauty fades, but truth remains." The hall erupted in applause. Some women even cried. After the event, several girls came to hug her. One said, "Auntie Precious, I made my delete my fake life. I'll start living real." Tears filled Precious's eyes again, not from pain this time, but from gratitude. She finally understood that the humiliation that once broke her was actually her breakthrough. That night, back in her hotel room, she received a message from Amaka again. "I saw your speech online. I'm proud of you. I want to change too. Maybe we can start something together, helping girls like us." She smiled. Maybe people could change. Maybe life's pain was meant to shape them, not destroy them. As she lay on her clean white bed, the city lights twinkling outside, she whispered a short prayer. "God, thank you for giving me a second chance. Help me stay clean inside and out." And just like that, the once broken fake slay queen became an inspiration to many. Not by pretending, not by flaunting, but by simply being real. The sound of soft rain pattering on the window woke Precious early that morning. She turned over, staring at her phone on the nightstand. It had been 3 months since her speech in Abuja, and her life had completely turned around. Her page had grown again, not from fake luxury or filters, but from truth. Her followers now called her Auntie Pressy, the real queen. She got invitations to speak at youth programs, church events, and women's empowerment gatherings. Life finally made sense. But the most surprising part was Amaka. After her message from Abuja, Amaka had truly changed. She deleted her fake pictures, stopped posting things she couldn't afford, and reached out to Precious sincerely. It wasn't an overnight friendship, but slowly they started talking again about their struggles, mistakes, and dreams. One evening, over bowls of jollof rice in Precious's neat kitchen, Amaka said something that sparked a new idea. "Precious, what if we start something together, like an online platform for young girls? We could teach them about confidence, real living, and honesty online." Precious paused, the idea sinking in. "That's beautiful. We can call it Real Queens Africa." Tenny, who was sitting at the corner scrolling her phone, raised her hand. "Count me in. I can help with marketing and organizing events." The 3 women shared a laugh, full of hope and energy. For once, their friendship wasn't built on competition or envy. It was about purpose. Within a few weeks, Real Queens Africa became a hit. They held small meetups for young women in Lagos, teaching them hygiene, budgeting, and self-worth. Videos from their gatherings went viral. Companies started reaching out for sponsorships. But with success came new people and new tests. That's how they met Lydia. Lydia was a sharp, beautiful woman with caramel skin and a sweet voice that could charm anyone. She claimed to be a digital strategist who wanted to help them grow faster. She had worked with a few big influencers, and her confidence made her sound trustworthy. Amaka was the one who introduced her. "She's really good, Precious. I met her at a women's conference. She can help us get brand deals and bigger visibility." Precious wasn't fully convinced, but agreed to give Lydia a chance. At first, everything went smoothly. Lydia handled their social media pages, created sponsorship proposals, and even brought in a few deals. She was efficient, almost too good to be true. But gradually, Precious started noticing small things. Money from a sponsorship didn't reflect in their account. Lydia claimed the client delayed payment.
Another deal was signed without her knowledge. When she asked questions, Lydia always smiled and said, "Don't worry, I've got everything under control." One afternoon, Precious walked into their shared office space and found Lydia and Amaka whispering. They immediately went silent when she entered. "What's going on?" Precious asked. Amaka smiled awkwardly. "Nothing serious. We were just discussing a new partnership Lydia found." Precious nodded slowly, but her heart wasn't calm. Something about Lydia felt off. That evening, she went home uneasy. She prayed, "God, if Lydia is not genuine, please expose her before she destroys what we've built." Days turned into weeks, and the tension grew. Precious noticed Lydia posting real Queens Africa content on her personal page, using it to get attention for herself. She started getting invited to events as if it were her organization. Tenny confronted her privately. "Precious, this leader girl they do somehow. I think she's trying to take over." Precious sighed. "I've seen it too, but Amaka seems to trust her too much. I just hope she won't regret it." Unfortunately, regret came faster than they expected. One morning, Precious received a shocking email from a sponsor, a big cosmetics brand. "Dear Miss Precious, we have terminated our partnership with Real Queens Africa due to unprofessional handling and false account details. We've already made payment to the account provided by your representative, Lydia Ade." Precious froze. Her hands trembled. "Payment? Which account?" She immediately called Amaka, but her line was busy. She tried Lydia, switched off. Within hours, everything unraveled. Lydia had disappeared, deleting her social media accounts and emptying the company's funds. The office laptop was gone, so were some documents. Precious sat on the floor, shaking. "Not again! God, not again!" Amaka arrived, her face pale and eyes red. "She scammed us, Precious. She took everything." Tenny paced the room angrily. "I warned you both. This is exactly why you don't trust people too quickly." Amaka broke down crying. "It's my fault. I brought her in. I believed her. I thought she was different." Precious felt a storm of emotions. Anger, disappointment, sadness, but mostly pain. She had trusted again, only to be betrayed again. That night, she sat quietly by her window. Lagos lights twinkled below, but her heart was heavy. She took her old Bible, the one she found during her cleaning months ago, and opened it randomly. Her eyes fell on a verse in Proverbs. "A good name is better than riches." She sighed deeply. Maybe God is reminding me that this is not about money, but purpose. Instead of giving up, Precious called an emergency meeting the next day. "We are not going to let one thief destroy everything," she said firmly. "Lydia might have stolen from us, but she can't steal our message." Amaka wiped her tears. "But how do we start again? The sponsors are gone." "We start small again, just like before. We'll rebuild, and this time we'll be wiser." So they did. They organized free community events, helping young girls with confidence and hygiene training without any sponsors. People saw their sincerity and began to support them again. News outlets even picked up their story. How two influencers turned pain into purpose. Months later, Lydia was finally caught by the police after scamming another company. The news spread fast. When Amaka saw it, she couldn't stop crying. "God really fights for us," she said. Precious nodded slowly. "He does. You just have to stay true and patient." Their platform grew stronger after that, not because of money or fame, but because of integrity. People trusted them more, and they finally got a real sponsorship this time, from a women's NGO, not a cosmetics brand. At their next conference, Precious stood on stage once again, speaking to a hall full of young girls. She said, "Sometimes life will test your trust again and again, but don't let betrayal make you bitter. Let it make you better. Your pain can become your power." The crowd stood up, clapping loudly. Amaka and Tenny were watching from the side of the stage, smiling proudly. When the lights dimmed and the music played, Precious looked around and whispered to herself, "This time, I'm truly clean, inside and out." And for the first time in her adult life, she felt untouchable, not because of fame, but because she had found something priceless: wisdom.
The Harmattan breeze was soft that morning, and Lagos streets were unusually quiet. Precious sat by her window, sipping a cup of hot Milo, her mind drifting, between gratitude and uncertainty. Life had taught her to be strong, but sometimes even strength feels heavy. Her work with Real Queens Africa had grown beyond her imagination. They were now invited to secondary schools and churches to speak about self-worth and authenticity. Her story had even been featured on a local TV talk show. But amidst the new joy, something in her heart was missing. Something she thought she had buried long ago. Love. Since breaking up with Femi, she had focused completely on rebuilding her life. She told herself she didn't need any man to complete her. But deep inside, she still longed for someone who would see the real her. Not the slay queen, not the influencer, but the woman behind it all. That was when she met Chike. It started at a youth conference where she was a guest speaker. Chike was one of the organizers, a calm, tall man with kind eyes and an easy smile. He was a creative designer who handled the event's visuals. Their first conversation was short but warm. "Your speech today was powerful," he said after the program. "You spoke like someone who has been through real fire." Precious smiled. "I've been through fire, yes, but I survived." Chike nodded. "Then maybe the fire made you gold." That line stuck with her. He started visiting their office often, helping with designs and flyers. Soon, they began chatting every night. His words were soft, sincere and patient. He didn't treat her like a celebrity, he treated her like a human. Tenny noticed the glow on her friend's face. "Huh, Precious, who is making you smile at your phone like a teenager?" Precious blushed. "Nobody, Joe." "Liar, I can smell love from here." They both laughed, but Tenny was right. For the first time in a long while, Precious was falling. Slowly, fearfully, but genuinely. Chike was different from Femi. He wasn't flashy or loud. He was a man of depth. He'd listen to her talk about her scars without judging. He'd remind her to pray when she felt anxious. And when she doubted herself, he'd say, "You are already enough, Precious." 6 months later, they were officially dating. Amaka and Tenny were happy for her. Life finally seemed balanced. Love, purpose, and peace. But then, just when she thought she had finally healed completely, life tested her again. One Friday evening, she received a call from an unknown number. "Hello?" she said. A woman's voice replied, cold and sharp. "Is this Precious?" "Yes, who is speaking?" "This is Chike's wife." Her heart stopped. For a few seconds, she couldn't breathe. I don't understand. His wife?" "Yes, wife. We've been married for 3 years. I saw your pictures on his phone. I thought you should know." The line went dead. The world around her bled. Her phone fell to the floor. Her heart pounded so loud she could hear it. "No, this can't be true," she whispered, her voice trembling. She called Chike immediately. He didn't answer. She called again and again. Finally, he picked up. "Precious, please listen to me before you react," he began. Her voice shook. "Is it true, Chike? Are you married?" Silence. Then softly, "Yes, but it's not what you think." Her heart broke in two. "Not what I think? You lied to me for months. You told me I was your peace, your everything." "Precious, my marriage has been dead for years. We live apart. I didn't mean to hurt you. I love you." She cut the call immediately and burst into tears. All the walls she had built to protect her heart collapsed. The betrayal felt like a stab. She felt foolish. How could she, after everything she had learned, fall for another lie? Tenny rushed over when she heard her sobbing. "What happened?" "Chike, he's married."
Precious whispered through tears. Her face turned dark. What? That useless man! After everything you've been through? Precious could barely speak. I trusted him. I told him everything about me. I even prayed with him. Amaka joined later that night, bringing food and tissues. They both sat beside her, letting her cry. After hours of silence, Tenny finally said, "Babe, I know this hurts, but please don't let this break you again. Remember who you are now." Amaka nodded. "You rose from worse, Precious. You will rise again." But it wasn't easy. For weeks she avoided work and barely ate. Her followers noticed her silence. Her heart felt heavy. Her hope shattered. Then one Sunday morning, she decided to attend church after a long time. The message that day was titled, "When God Breaks Your Heart to Heal Your Soul." The pastor said something that struck deep. Sometimes, God allows heartbreak not to punish you, but to redirect you. He removes who's wrong so he can give you what is right. Precious felt tears roll down her cheeks. For the first time since Chike's betrayal, she whispered, "God, I'm tired of crying. Please heal me completely." After service, she went home, picked up her phone, and opened her page. She posted a simple message. "Don't let heartbreak make you bitter. Let it teach you what love truly means: peace, truth, and patience." Within hours, the post went viral. Thousands of women commented, sharing their pain and healing journeys. Some even said her story gave them courage to walk away from lies. That was when Precious realized even this heartbreak was part of her purpose. Weeks later, she met Chike again. He looked tired and regretful. "I lost you, Precious. I'm sorry," he said quietly. She looked at him, her voice calm. "You didn't lose me, Chike. You lost your chance to be honest. I'll always wish you peace, but I deserve truth." She walked away, tears in her eyes, not of pain this time, but of closure. That night, she knelt beside her bed and prayed, "God, I don't want fake love. I don't want temporary happiness. I just want your will. Teach me to wait and to love myself enough to say no to lies." And as she lay in bed, she realized something beautiful for the first time in her life. She wasn't afraid of being alone, because she finally knew that solitude with peace was better than company with pain.
It was a quiet Sunday evening in Lagos. The golden sunset cast its last warm glow through Precious's clean windows, dancing across her freshly polished floor. She sat cross-legged on her sofa, scrolling through messages from young women who had attended Real Queens Africa's last outreach program in Abuja. "Thank you for changing my life, Ma. You helped me forgive myself. I cleaned my house and my heart too." Each message touched her deeply. She smiled gently, whispering, "Thank you, God." It had been almost a year since the heartbreak with Chike. The pain had become a lesson, and the lesson had become wisdom. She had found peace in solitude, joy in purpose, and strength in her scars. Her organization was now officially registered. Schools invited her every month, and TV stations often called her to speak about the fake life syndrome among youth. Even her relationship with Mrs. Grace, her elderly neighbor, had blossomed. "Ah, my daughter," Mrs. Grace would say every morning, handing her a plate of jollof rice. "You are now a true queen, not the kind from Instagram." They would laugh together, and Precious would feel genuine warmth, the kind that didn't come from fame or money. Then, one afternoon, fate surprised her again. She was invited to speak at a youth empowerment conference in Port Harcourt. The event was big. Politicians, entrepreneurs, and creatives all gathered to share their stories. Precious stood backstage, reviewing her speech notes, when she heard a familiar male voice behind her. "Excuse me, are you Precious Nwashuku?" She turned. He was tall, neatly dressed, with a simple smile and kind eyes that carried calmness. "Yes, I am," she replied. He extended his hand. "I'm David. I've heard a lot about your work. My NGO collaborates with youth organizations to fight depression. It will be an honor to work with you someday." His tone was respectful, not flirty. His handshake was firm but gentle. For some reason, his presence felt peaceful. After her speech, he waited to congratulate her again. "You speak truth with grace," he said. "It's rare these days." She chuckled, "Maybe because I've lived the lies before." They exchanged contact and began talking slowly, naturally. David wasn't like anyone she had known. He never rushed her, never made her feel small. He didn't care about her fame or her followers. When she posted something online, he would message, "I'm proud of your growth," not "You looked fine in that video." He asked about her dreams, not her past. And that was new for Precious, being loved without conditions. Tenny and Amaka noticed her glow again. Who's this new man?" Tenny teased one evening as they sat eating suya and zobo. "His name is David, but I'm taking it slow. I've learned that love should be calm, not confusing." Amaka smiled. "You've changed, my friend. The old you would have already posted him online with the caption, 'My king.'" They all laughed. Months passed, and Precious and David's bond grew stronger. They worked together on several community projects and traveled across Nigeria speaking about mental health and self-value. He always insisted she take care of herself first. One night, after a charity dinner, as they stood outside under the soft street light, David looked at her quietly. "You know," he said, "you are not the same woman I saw on social media 2 years ago. You have become whole." Precious smiled. "I had to lose everything to find myself." He stepped closer. "And now that you have found yourself, maybe it's time to let someone love that real version." Her heart raced, but not from fear, from peace. "Are you sure you want to love someone who's been through so much?" she asked. He held her hand. "That is exactly why I want to, because you know what pain feels like. You'll never take peace for granted." Tears filled her eyes. "You sound like a prayer I didn't know I prayed." He smiled. "Maybe I'm just the answer." For the first time, love didn't scare her. It didn't demand or deceive. It simply existed quietly, truthfully, beautifully. A year later, they got married in a small, heartfelt ceremony. No luxury cars, no loud influencers, no fake smiles, just family, true friends, and gratitude. As Precious walked down the aisle in a simple lace gown, Tenny cried uncontrollably. Amaka held her hand. Mrs. Grace stood proudly in the front row, whispering, "God truly makes all things new." When David lifted her veil and whispered, "You are my answered prayer," she smiled with tears in her eyes. This wasn't the fairy tale of expensive shoes and glamorous parties. This was real, the kind of love that cleans your heart, not your Instagram page. Years later, Precious's name became known not as a slay queen, but as a life coach, a wife, and a voice of truth. One evening, she stood before a crowd of young girls at an event. Her voice was steady, her eyes bright. "Once upon a time," she began, "I thought beauty was about clothes and success was about followers. But I learned that real beauty is how you live when no one is watching. And real success is how many lives you touch with your truth. I used to live for attention. Now, I live for purpose. If you must slay, slay your bad habits. If you must flex, flex your peace. And if you must shine, let it come from your soul." The hall went silent, then erupted in applause. As she stepped off the stage, she looked up to the sky and whispered, "Mama, I did it." Her life had come full circle, from fake glamour to genuine grace, from betrayal to purpose, from heartbreak to healing. And so ended the story of Precious, the girl who once lived in a dirty house but built a clean life.
Not perfect, not famous, but finally, truly free.